Hello muggles! I got asked to do more dating videos about dating in Japan, and I decided to do something on the flip side of that, and I wanted to talk about getting rejected in Japan. It's something that happens to most people when they arrive here. It happens quite a lot. It's even happened to me, can you believe it? But it's an important conversation to have, and I'll tell you why. I know lots of people living in Japan that got rejected quite a lot, particularly when you first arrive in Japan and you start dating. The adjust from Western style of dating to Japanese style dating, it's kind of hard. And it's not entirely your fault, and you shouldn't really have to completely adjust yourself, but there's kind of like compromises that you can make, and I'll explain what those are. If you hear a lot of noise, that is my cat. I don't know where he is right now. He is looking wistfully out of the window. By the way, I got trapped in a random rainstorm like 10 minutes ago, so my hair is extremely messy. I promise you, I looked way better 1 hour ago. Okay, so first of all, I'll go over some story times about anecdotes that happened to me when I first started dating in Japan, maybe like 7 years ago. I lived in Saitama and there was nothing there. Like, there was no people my age. And so of course I tried to date people online that were closer to central Tokyo, because I guess that's where all the people in their 20s usually are. And so I started to use Tinder. And my mom gave me a really good piece of advice. She said, don't date ugly guys, because then if they reject you, you'll feel much worse. And I have to say that she was actually kind of true about that. I don't really care about looks that much, and so there was I was chatting with some guys, and there was a guy, it was hard to tell from his picture, but he wasn't like, I guess, my type, but I thought maybe he would have a good personality, so I agreed to meet up with him in Tokyo. We decided to go eat sushi, and the whole time he was bragging like, we're gonna have the best sushi, like, you're a foreigner, so I want you to have the best, I want you to try different sushi that we've never had before. And I have like a world famous appetite. I can eat so much food, and I was very excited to eat the sushi that he was bragging about. So I met him, and he was actually better looking than his picture, which is something that I find happens a lot more with men. And he was nice, and we had a good time, and we were eating sushi. I think it was just sushi zanmai, so which is kind of like a decent level sushi, but it's not like amazing. But I really enjoyed it. So he kept asking, oh, would you like some more? Would you like some more? Because we were just ordering like a plate of 6 each time. And of course I'm gonna say yes. He agreed to buy me sushi, and we're there to eat sushi, so of course I'm gonna eat sushi. So we kept eating and eating and eating, and I noticed that his kind of demeanor kind of got a little bit colder. And then I mentioned that my friend was in the area, and he said that his friend was in the area too. So he said, oh, why don't I grab my friend and we can do a double date and maybe go drinking or something. And I said okay, and I went to go meet my friend, and we were gonna hang around Hachiko, which is where most people meet in Shibuya. And he just never came back. And he completely ghosted me, and we had each other online, the messenger that we use here, and I mailed him like, where are you? And he never replied, but he read my messages. So effectively he ghosted me. And at that time I didn't realize what happened. I just figured that he didn't like me as a person, which is probably part of it too. But when I asked my friend who I live with in the share house at that time, he said, oh, well, no wonder he ghosted you. You ate so much sushi. Like, men, I wouldn't say all men, but I find that in Japan there is a kind of attractiveness to women who don't eat a lot. It's very demure if they just have a little portion of food, and I guess that just really turned him off, how much I ate. And my friend said, yeah, like, it's especially on a first date, you shouldn't eat that much. So I kind of learned a big lesson there. But admittedly, I feel like food's really important to me, so if a guy doesn't want to be around me if I eat a lot of food, then we're probably not going to work out. So it's probably for the best that he ghosted me. So leading on from that, I want to talk about ghosting, because I feel like in Japan, ghosting is a really just normal thing that happens, and it happens to everyone, and I guess if it happens, you're supposed to just shrug it off. And I was ghosted quite a lot, and it's very strange because sometimes you go on a date and it seems like it's going very well, you make a connection and they say, yeah, let's meet up again, and then they just completely ghost you. And this is something that happens to everyone, regardless of sex or race or anything like that. It's just something that happens. And I was ghosted quite a few times. I remember one guy in particular that we went on a few dates and we seemed to get on pretty well, and then he kind of like ghosted me for 2 weeks. And I guess for Japanese people that's not that long, because in Japan I find when people date, the communication isn't as strong as maybe Western people expect. We wanna message that person at least once a day, whereas in Japan people are sometimes fine with only mailing each other like every few days or once a week or something like that. But he vanished for 2 weeks, and then eventually he mailed me back and he said, oh, would you want to go on another date? And I said, you ghosted me for 2 whole weeks, why would I want to go on a date with you? And he said that he was in China and that he couldn't message me, but I always thought, why didn't you just tell me that you were going to China? And he was like, my bad, kind of thing. And I just thought, no, like, ghosting's kind of normal in Japan, but for me, it's not something that I personally want to deal with. And I think that's a very big red flag at the start. A lot of my friends would be dating a guy, and the only real issue they have with him is that he's very sporadic with his messages, or like he vanishes for a few days and then it never ends well. I think that if someone wants to spend their time with you, they will. And I don't think it's so much a big of a ask to expect someone to mail you at least once a day. I mean, if that's not a big deal for you, then that's fine. But personally, for me, yeah, I expect like minimum level of communication. Of course, if you're a foreigner and dating Japanese people in Japan, one of the hardest things to look out for is Gaijin Hunters. And that's someone who wants to date you purely because you're foreign. And I think that's different to obviously dating anyone who's going to date a foreigner. They like you because they like you. They don't like you because you're foreign, and that's what you want. But a lot of guys and girls might just date you because they want to date a foreigner, and they don't care what you look like or what your personality is like. And that's the same for foreigners. Like, you'll find foreigners that just want to date an Asian person, and that's something you gotta look out for. But I was rejected because my friend, he was Japanese, he said, oh, can I introduce you to my friend? He likes foreign girls. And that's an instant red flag. But I said, okay, sure, whatever, I'll go and say hi. And it was actually a good way to get rejected. I met him and he's actually half Japanese, I think he's half American. And he immediately, his eyes went really big and he said, I'm really sorry, but you're not my type. And I said, oh, no, that's good. Like, I'd rather know sooner rather than later. Your friend said that you like foreign girls, so. And he said, oh, yeah, I like foreign girls, but I like big, big German girls. And I was like, what? What do you mean big, big German girls? He's like, you don't understand. He's like, I like them 6 foot tall. He's like, I like them thick. I like them round. I like them jiggly. I was like, okay, I get it. But he definitely like had a type, and that's cool. I'm really glad that he just told me instead of just wasting my time or like ghosting me or something. But yeah, that was very, very interesting and very, very honest of him. And yeah, so even if you're dating someone that wants to date a foreigner, they're gonna have a type in their head. And I've met Japanese guys that are like, I only want to date a woman from the Middle East. I only want to date a Spanish girl. I only want to date an African American girl. I only want to date like this. And I'm not sure if that's a red flag or not, but I guess if they tell you at the start, it makes it kind of easy to weed those guys out. then I don't usually get that affected by being rejected. I think a lot of people take it quite personally, and it has a really bad effect on their self-esteem. But for me, I don't really find it that big of a deal. You just keep looking. Another piece of advice my mom gave me was that you have to kiss a lot of frogs to find your prince, which is probably not the best advice to give to like a teenage girl, but actually it ended up to be quite accurate. But the only time that I got actually really affected by someone that rejected me was years and years ago when we were clubbing. I was speaking to this guy for ages. He spoke English quite well, and he was a scientist, and he kind of dressed like Gyaruo. It was really weird to meet someone with that kind of job who's dressed quite cool, I guess, for that time. And he was really funny and smart, and we had exactly the same taste in movies and stuff like that. And usually after we go clubbing, we would go to someone's house and drink more. It's not like weird to do that. And he invited me to go to his apartment because it was close to go drinking. And so of course I thought that he was interested in me, and particularly because I thought that we were going with our friends, but then it ended up just us. And taking the taxi there, we had more conversation, and I just probably in Japan one of the few guys where I was like, this guy is super cool. I could definitely see myself having a long-term relationship with him. And so I kind of got my hopes up a little bit. And then we went to his apartment, and he had an incredible apartment. It was honestly, he had like a whole wall of like foreign cereals. It was incredible, with a beautiful balcony. It was in the heart of the city. It was honestly amazing. And then we sat down, and I thought that he would like try to hold my hand or kiss me or something, and he leaned in really close, and he said, "Do you want to watch the Lord of the Rings extended edition?" And honestly, I love to watch Lord of the Rings Extended Edition, but that wasn't kind of what I was hoping for at that time. So I said, oh yeah, sure. Like maybe he's just gonna put a movie on and then like make it more romantic, and then he'll hold my hand or something. And then so this must have been at like 2 a.m. We watched Lord of the Rings, the extended edition, and I swear this was like 4 hours long. And then as soon as it finished, he said, "Do you want to watch Ted 2?" And then he put on Ted 2. And I think somewhere during that he fell asleep, and then I just left. Yeah. And I thought maybe that a thing that happens in Japan is guys get quite shy. So I just waited for him to mail me, and he did mail me, and he asked to meet up again. And we also had a double date with my friend. We went to Skytree, which is a very like romantic spot. So we kept going on all these dates, and he never ever kind of like made a move or anything. And when I asked him if he liked me, he said, why do you think I would like you? We're just friends. And that kind of hurt quite a lot, because we were definitely doing like boyfriend and girlfriend things, and he would take pictures together and stuff like that. And then I just said, okay, whatever, we can just be friends. And we didn't hang out that much after that. And then he invited me, months later, he invited me to help him with his thesis. And again, he invited me to his apartment, and we were drinking, and he was like, "You're so beautiful and talented and amazing and blah blah blah." And I was like, what does that do you like me, kind of thing? And he got kind of angry, and he was like, "Why do you keep asking me if I like you? I don't like you." And then yeah, I just left. And I think that is another thing that happens quite a lot, is that guys will sometimes, particularly with foreign girls, they'll want to hang out with you, and they'll want to take pictures with you, and they'll want to talk to their friends about you, but they won't actually consider you as a romantic partner. And that's honestly quite sad. But being in Japan, I didn't just date Japanese guys. I've dated Chinese guys, Taiwanese guys, American guys, one British guy. But I find that when you live in Japan for quite a while, you kind of adopt these methods of dating, and I think that even the way I approach dating is kind of Japanese now, so that's something to look out for. Okay, so why are we having this conversation? As I said before, it does affect people quite badly, and I know people now, quite a few girls who have such low self-esteem because they had quite a bad time dating when they arrived in Japan. I know girls that every month they'll do like hair removal or get surgery and spend a lot of money on their looks because they think that it's something wrong with how they look, and really it's not. I mean, you should be well presented and clean and stuff like that. That's something that's very important in any culture. But if a guy likes you, then he's gonna like you. It doesn't matter how much hair removal or teeth whitening or whatever you do. And I think that if a guy is willing to date you just because you do those things, then I think that you probably shouldn't date that person. Okay, so finally, I wish you good luck if you're living in Japan and you're planning to date here. Um, my piece of advice is that if you're looking to find someone that you want to be with long term, be honest with them at the start about how you dress, how you act. If there's anything about you that's kind of annoying, maybe get that out of the way first, and try to date someone that of course loves their own culture but is also willing to compromise some things and doesn't want to turn you into a Japanese person, because that's never gonna work. And yeah, just stay true to yourself, and even if you get rejected, honestly, it's not that big a deal. I promise you, just keep trying. Okay, thank you for watching. I'm sorry today was kind of lazy and just chatting. It rained a lot today and I got kind of lazy, and I also got really wet, and I just wanted to have this kind of video. Let me know if there's anything else you want to see, and let me know your experiences about dating, or it doesn't have to be in Japan, but I'm really curious to see if anyone has had similar dating experiences in Japan. Please put them in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe.